please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence to remember our troops abroad and their families here at home, and also the Belmar families that are still displaced from their own homes. Thank you. Would the council like to join me off the dais for a special presentation? We have a lot of students with us today because our students in Belmar rock. So I'd like to call up three, Aubrey Taylor, Stephanie Popper, and Amanda Brown. Turn around. Ready? So here's a resolution honoring Aubrey Taylor, Stephanie Popper, and Amanda Brown. Whereas the Belmar Elementary School held a contest to come up with a new Belmar slogan for the 2013 summer season and reopening of the Belmar Beach and Boardwalk. And whereas the winning slogan was Belmarvelous, which was created by three 7th grade students, Aubrey Taylor, Stephanie Popper, and Amanda Brown. And whereas this slogan will be displayed on t-shirts along with the Belmar logo and the words Belmar Strong 2013. And now, therefore, it be resolved by the Mayor and Council and all the residents of Belmar that Aubrey Taylor, Stephanie Popper, and Amanda Brown be congratulated on creating the winning slogan and for helping everyone in Belmar to celebrate the reopening of the Belmar Beach and Boardwalk. Stephanie, well, please tell Stephanie we say congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's great. That's a great slogan. Marvelous.
Marvelous, very marvelous.
All right, now this one's going to be big. So we're going to first call up all the children who help with this, and then I'm going to read aloud. So let's have Lucinda Lisco, Hannah Doherty, Jacqueline Lewinsky, Carly Terciano, Amanda Comitas, Madeline McManus, Sophia Rakozak, Emma Rakozak, Sophie Weir, Isabella Rosardi, Carolyn Rackham, Lara Shannon, Angela Westerfield, Julia Nicolay, Ella Herbert, Hannah Wilton, Gavin Lisco, Tyler Lisco, Renee Herbert, Joe Annan, Heidi Weir, Brody Burns, Claire Doherty, Hope Wilton, Landon Herbert, John McManus, and Jack Nicolay. On this picture little boys, can you get closer to the girls? They want to move this? John, you're going to go in the front. Put John in the front. All right, ready, children? Whereas a group of children from Belmar, Lake Como, and Will Township, ranging in ages of 4 to 8 years old, decided they wanted to help the Belmar and bring back the Belmar Boardwalk in time for Memorial Day 2013. And whereas the group form was called the Shell Kids, whereas this group of kids created beautiful, decorative, hand-painted Belmar seashells to raise funds with the goal of raising $5,000 to that they would all become big kahunas. And whereas the Belmar Shell kids set up tables at various storefronts and events throughout Belmar, Lake Como, and Wall communities in an effort to sell shells and raise funds. And whereas the Belmar Shell kids raised $5,000 that was needed and are now big kahunas in their own right, with all the proceeds from the shells to help fund the rebuilding of the Belmar Boardwalk through the Buy a Board campaign. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Mayor and Council and all the residents of the Borough of Belmar that each and every one of the Belmar Shell kids be honored and thanked for their hard work and dedication towards helping their fellow residents and for their generous help in rebuilding our beautiful Belmar Boardwalk. Children, would you like to sing?
Hi, everybody.
And I think everyone agrees with me that after this diligent work and being honored tonight, that all these children deserve ice cream. Look at that. All parents obligate to buy their kids ice cream. Everyone but
They're all leaving the class.
Come on, Hannah. Where are we
Setting in a kiddie
Ice cream. Let's go. So we gotta go. There's a sign over here. Sorry, we're done. Ice cream. Ice cream. Really? We're actually getting ice cream? My dad usually just says that. Wait, are you kidding me? Are we really actually getting ice cream?
No.
Okay, well, we're going to continue on. Our next order of business is for Zumba on the beach. We're going to auction off Zumba on the beach. Whoever would be interested in doing the Zumba on the beach, please come up forward with the ring.
Yeah.
What's our opening bid? Hi. How much is it?
500.
Are you willing to bid $500?
Yes.
Would you like to bid any more than $500?
No, thank you.
All right, well, seeing there's no other, are there any other bidders? There's none. Okay. Come on forward. Hi, would you like to bid more than $500?
Yes, I would.
How much would you like to bid?
$550.
You'd like to bid $600?
Yes.
You'd like to bid higher than $600?
$650.
Higher than $650?
723.
Lucky number. You'd like to bid higher than $700?
Yes, I'm thinking what I want to bid. 775.
So you'd like to bid higher than $775?
782.
Okay, 783.
All right, well, then I'll just, do I hear 800?
Yes.
900?
Come on, Mr. Mayor. I'm a college student here. I got college debt I gotta pay
I'll give you a job.
900?
825.
837.
838.
We're not gonna go.
Can we discuss real quick what's going on?
No, it's gotta be a public.
Okay.
I'll start paying the prices, so, will you do, 900?
Yes.
Will you bid higher than 900, minimum of 950?
950.
Would you bid higher than 950, minimum should be 1,000?
Yes.
Would you bid 1050? Yes or no?
1050, that's it. 1050.
1050. Would you bid 1,100?
Yes.
1150.
1,200?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
1,250?
Is that 1250? And what's the next one?
1,250.
1250 is me? Okay, 1250.
1,300?
Yes.
1,550?
That shouldn't happen. No. I can't go any higher.
All right, 1,300 is yours. Congratulations.
Please all come check out Zumba class. And your patronage.
I will commit to going to Zumba.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You may not look pretty, but. Chief, I'm signing you up. Signing Camel up. North Ray will be joining us. Mr. DuPont will also be joining us. All the guys over at 50.
What are they saying?
Next is our workshop discussion. We have 2 items on. You know, I'm going to reverse order and do the engineering services first. So, on our agenda tonight is to approve a contract to award to Gazer Consulting to be a quote-unquote conflict engineer. As you may know, our engineering firm has been indicted. The employees have done a magnificent job in Belmar, finishing up the boardwalk. Some days they were even furloughed. They weren't paid, but they still came and still showed up because they wanted to make sure it got done and they were committed to the project. But the company itself, and I've been in contact with their new CEO. They're looking to sell the company to someone from Virginia, whose name I don't remember. So we went out to bid for a conflict engineer to start moving work over to them. And we looked through all the bid docs. By far the best choice would be Major Consulting. They're large enough to absorb someone like us, but we also know we'll get the same personal attention that we require. So Rich Mazur's here if you want to just come up in the front. Mr. Mazur, and just tell us a little about your company, fill the council in. If the council has any questions, I'm sure Mr. Mazur can have a good field.
Sure. I'm Richard Mazur. I'm the founder of the firm. We've been serving municipalities since I founded the firm in 1984. We represent approximately 50 municipalities throughout the state at various capacities. Our strong point is our infrastructure knowledge and design capabilities. We are a multidisciplinary firm, so we can handle all the different issues. I know Belmar has a lot of complex issues. We have experience in all those type of things like marina, water systems, boardwalk, everything. I know a lot of that's been corrected already, but going forward, we have the knowledge and the capabilities to address all those areas of concern. One of the strong points is our ability to get funding for our municipalities. And the number one cornerstone of our reputation is our responsiveness. We're always available 24/7. We'll get back to citizens, the governing body, the administration promptly all the time. So we welcome this opportunity. We'd like to thank the mayor and the council for giving us this opportunity. We look forward to servicing your community.
Any questions for Mr. Mazur from any members?
Yeah, 50 municipalities. Will Belmar be put on like the back burner because you got these other people already on board? I mean, how does that work?
No, absolutely not. We service a variety of municipalities, from very small municipalities to several large ones. We have a very large staff. We have almost 380 people. A lot of the municipalities are served from various offices. You would be served out of our corporate office, which is our largest office in Red Bank, so we're fairly local. We are absorbing several employees that currently service your community, so there'll be ongoing knowledge. They'll be on board with us, and we have a backup staff to further support them.
You will be on board with us with the designs of our new buildings on the boardwalk, I assume.
Yes, absolutely.
Councilman McGovern heads a committee involved in all of those issues, so perhaps you could speak from him about that.
Surely.
And when would that process begin, that we would start looking at renderings and things of that nature for those particular, because there's a lot of interest, and you know, people ask me all the time about when they're going to be up, what they're going to be like, and it would be nice to inform the public, give them a little bit of information about, especially the Taylor Pavilion, which is our key location for many community affairs and functions. So could you speak to that a little bit, please?
Sure. There will be a transition, which any time related to the transition our firm will absorb. There will be no duplication of effort to the community. I am not up to speed specifically on that project personally. Once we are appointed, we will be meeting with your current providers and figuring out an exact transition plan that has not been defined yet. That'll probably happen over a week or two. We'll meet with your administrator and whatever is best for the community in terms of the transition. That's how we would proceed forward. As soon as we're more up to speed, I can't really address that this evening. I apologize for that. But we will get up to speed very quickly and be able to address those areas of concern.
Business Administrator Connolly, could you perhaps set up meetings with the new firm so that two of us at a time could sit and discuss the various issues they'd be facing? I'd appreciate that very much, so that we can speak as I think of more questions.
I think that's a great idea, because we really would like to know what area of concerns you have and address them as quickly as possible.
Do that very much. Thank you.
I'm sure you're an excellent business. My taking of Birdsell, because Tommy Rospos was one of the top executive, and the two Dakotas brothers that stayed on, even though they ran into trouble, they were Belmar residents. Birdsell, I always felt, gave Belmar the personal touch. It wasn't just Birdsell was our engineering firm. They lived in Belmar. They went the extra mile for us. I'm sure you're going to treat us as another, 51st municipality. Any of your people live in Belmar?
Both Dakota's brothers will be coming to our organization.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How about our present engineer, Paul Calabrese?
Paul has committed to us, as Corey has also.
Oh, excellent.
That's a wonderful transition for us.
Yes.
So they will be working for major engineer.
They have full-time offers on the table. They've accepted them, as several other people from Birdsville have also that are familiar with the issues in your community.
You just said home run with me.
Okay.
Great transition.
Question here. You're the president, is that correct?
Correct.
Do you give illegal donations to candidates? Does your firm, does anybody in your firm?
I do not.
Well, you're on the record.
On the record, we do not.
Are there any indictments or anything that you know of that are coming down?
No, and we have never been investigated. There were no indictments.
That didn't hold wrong?
That's correct. Our practices are consistent with the law.
All right, thank you very much. Your, again, the resolution for consideration and,
Great, I appreciate the opportunity, thank you.
Next on our workshop is an update on our water situation, better referred to as our water problem. We have a serious water problem in Belmar. It doesn't affect everybody, but it affects more than enough. And we have representatives from our water department and also from New Jersey American Water with us today. Let's have everyone come up, sort of state who they are. Want to have
Can you keep the measure above? Introduce yourself and members of American Water as well. Franny Hines is a supervisor in the Department of Public Works and has intimate knowledge with our water system. He's going to be leading the discussion tonight. And we have experts from American Water here as well.
France. Yes, sir.
And you're going to address the council.
For quite some time now, we've been experiencing, I'm Franny Hines, I'm the head of the water department here in Belmar. I've been an employee for 27 years, I guess, mostly in the water department. We have been experiencing a severe water issue in Belmar with dirty and discolored water. It seems to be localized in two particular areas, one being Rhode Island Point section, and the other being the direct opposite of town, up around Surf, Snyder, 19th Avenue, 20th Avenue. We've done some aggressive flushing, trying to solve this issue. That was to no avail. We would flush the hydrants and the water would be clear for a few days, and then the problem came right back. So we tried again, we did some spot flushing, and the same issue. It would clear for a day or two, the customers would get some relief, and then it would start all over again. So we reached out to our licensed operator, Richard Brand, and we've also reached out to our friends at New Jersey American Water who supply this water. We tried to see if there was some way that we could figure out what the problem actually was. We know that there's been some changes in the chemistry with their water, and there's some issues in our pipes as well. And I'm no chemical expert, but we have some here tonight. And so we've been partnering up with these guys for the last several months. We've been brainstorming and trying to figure out what we can do here. Currently, we buy our water from New Jersey American. By this Saturday, we hope to be back on our well water. We have 2 wells that we've fired up, and we think we're going to get plenty of water out of each one of those. So by Saturday, we should be on our own water, and we're really hoping to see some. I'm sorry?
Can you explain what that means? When you say we're going to be on our own water?
During the winter months, we buy water from New Jersey American, and we're allotted X amount of gallons per month. In the summertime, they don't have the capacity to feed us, as I understand it, and we use our own wells that we used to use all the time. So we have 4 wells, active wells that we draw water from the Englishtown aquifer. So we switch over. We will shut New Jersey American Water off at our plant and use the water that we pull from the ground out of our wells. So that's going to commence probably Saturday. Then we're going to do some aggressive sampling, which we've been doing for about a month. We've been taking samples all over town, mostly in the affected areas, trying to find out what the issue is in the system. So we're really hoping that this water that's going to clear up some, and that'll give us some time to figure out what the issue is before we have to go back on the Jersey American Water come September or October, whenever that date is. We do have some gentlemen and ladies from the Jersey American Water from various departments there, and I'm sure they could shed a little light on this for us too. But if you are one of those people, there's no one more frustrated than me that we can't seem to solve this. So, but we are aggressively looking for the answer to this issue. So hopefully with our friends from the Jersey American, we can figure it out and get it straightened out. There are some issues in some surrounding towns very similar to ours. South Belmar, Lake Como is experiencing some of the same problems, and Allen by the Sea had experienced the same problems as well. So we're making some headway, but you know, we are partnered up with New Jersey American, who are water professionals, and hopefully we can find a solution to this.
Well, in the past, there had been times when people would have run water, particularly say like on Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
If there's a large influx of people.
Increase in flow, absolutely does that.
But something that we're experiencing now really seems.
If the water sits in the mains for a long time, up on Surf and Snyder, and a lot of those homes were vacated for a while during a storm. So the water sat there, not using, and so it sits in the main, and it becomes a problem. We have flushed up there aggressively, and
But you think even though, if it sits up there for a while and then you flush it,
you would think that it would come clean, yes.
But it's not.
It has in the past. This time it has not.
This time.
No.
And then, who's the gentleman with you?
Mr. Kerwin from the Jersey American Water Company.
Hi, I'm Kevin Kerwin. I'm with New Jersey American. I'm the Director of Field Operations for the southern half of New Jersey. And myself, as well as my team members, we've been actively involved with Lake Como, Avon, and we had preliminary conversations with Belmar back towards the end of March. I'll just go up the line. Lake Como had similar type problems in their system, and it was on one half of their system on the eastern side. We worked with them, went through their system, traced the water, and actually found a few problems in their system, closed valves. Water aging is a problem if it sits, and that situation, obviously, in many areas, we experienced it in many areas ourselves, down from Bay Head south, that we had homes impacted by Sandy, and obviously we had to make repairs, but we also have to maintain the water system and keep the water moving. It doesn't have an indefinite shelf life. So we worked with Lake Como, went through their issues, put them in a condition where they could flush their system. And that's an important component of this, is being able to flush the system. In Avon, we moved up to Avon, helped them with their issues. Flushing was probably the corrective measure there as well. And when I say flushing and water turnover, many communities, I don't know exactly, in Belmar how many homes were impacted, but in Avon, there were homes impacted, and Lake Como, there was homes impacted as well, which contributed to some of the lower usage. I believe in one of your sections where you're having problems is was impacted during Sandy. So there could be an issue there, but we're here to partner up. We do value you as a customer, and we are willing to come and work with your team to help diagnose this problem. So it's,
well, can you and some of the team sort of explain the change in the chemical makeup of the water? I guess in the past you had used chlorine.
yes.
And now you use chloramine?
It's still there's chlorine combined with ammonia. The reason for that, I'll give you the layman terms. We made a switch, as did most surface water plants in New Jersey. A shift. There's been a continuous shift towards chloramines, and that is a disinfection practice that enables surface water supplies, water purveyors who treat water from rivers, lakes, and reservoirs, to meet federal requirements for stage 2 disinfection byproducts.
You might just stand a little closer to the microphone.
Sure. That enable us to meet the stage 2 disinfection byproducts. So it's a combination of chlorine and ammonia, and it's a change in disinfection practice. In actuality, it's not as strong as a oxidant as free chlorine. And that was a change that we made last year system-wide throughout the Monmouth system, approximately 90,000 customers we serve. We serve systems very similar to Belmar as far as a material makeup, meaning the types of water mains. Right next, up the way, Asbury, Bradley Beach, very similar makeup to the water mains here. And I think the one difference is probably our approach towards maintaining the system and maybe something different, and it's really about sharing our practices with Belmar, how we approach flushing and diagnosing the system, monitoring the hydraulics as well as the chemistry of the system. So that's what we're willing to do to work with your staff to help diagnose the problem. And I think there's a lot of opinions out there on what could be the root cause, but in something like this, it really comes down to analyzing the facts and collection of data and visualizing it spatially, as well as performing analysis in the system to really hone in on the problem.
Could that have changed from chemicals cause this?
I think it all comes back to how did Belmar prepare for this switchover. I believe, I don't know the exact date, someone on my team could help with the date, but back, I think, as far as 2011, we were communicating with the communities that were going to receive the water, the chemistry change, to prepare their system, to flush the system, and the method by which they should flush their system. So there has been communication on how to prepare. I'm not here to say that you did or didn't prepare.
What would be part of that preparation?
Flushing the system in what they would refer to as a unidirectional format, a systematic approach from the source out, and then also monitoring that you could achieve the appropriate velocities within the distribution system. Meaning, can you get the water flowing at such a rate that you can, transport any film or anything that would be transported out in flushing. And what I'm trying to describe is that if your system isn't capable of doing that, and there's a variety of reasons, there could be a closed valve in the system which would inhibit flow. There could be a buildup in pipe and inside the pipe which would inhibit the water to flow, and in turn not enable you to properly flush the system. And I'm not sure as to the areas that are impacted. Are they smaller diameter mains? Yes. And cast iron on line?
I'm not sure.
Okay. You could, and like I said, without us getting in and help diagnosing the problem, you could potentially, and it's not about pointing where the problems are, I'm just describing things we would look for. The diameter of the pipe, the buildup, the ability for the water to flow through the pipe is something that we would look for, monitor, and assess. And that would be representative in how much water can come out of the hydrant.
I just want to reflect a little bit on this. There's a commonality with Avon. What other towns? Spring Lake?
No, we don't serve Spring Lake.
Lake Como?
Lake Como.
And Belmar. Any other towns involved?
No. All the other municipalities that we serve, which means we operate and maintain those systems, none. We also have other communities we serve sell to, like Belmar, Matawan, Red Bank. There's Keensburg actually receives water from us. So there are a variety of other wholesale customers that we sell to that are not experiencing the same. It is localized to this area.
So you would assume then that the problem is the same in each of the three communities?
I can't say that because, for example, in Belmar, the problem is not system-wide. It's in two sections of town, but it's the same water that flows throughout the town. So there's a difference even within Belmar. There was a difference within Lake Como where the east side of town had all the problems and the west side didn't. What we found there was they had main breaks right after Hurricane Sandy. A lot happened with Hurricane Sandy. Their system had some damage, valves were operated, they had main breaks, and inadvertently, valves were put in the wrong position. So, so there's a variety of things it's very difficult to say that there's one common thread through this whole problem.
I just thought since it seems to be similar in the three communities.
Yeah, but the counterweight to that is all the other communities that we serve that have the same type of makeup. If it was truly a chemistry problem with the water, we would have a system-wide problem, meaning New Jersey, American, and Monmouth County.
You're saying the problem's just located at Belmar, Lake Como, now?
Yes, and we've had, and you know, we prepared our system for the conversion. We flushed, you know, the whole Monmouth County system prior to the chlorine conversion. And we did have a spot area or two that required us to come back to and flush.
I have a question here.
Sure.
What is it in the water making it dirty? Meaning you pour a glass of water, you take out the H2O. What's left over? What is that?
It's without having any analysis in front of me, it's probably iron. Your wells, the wells in your system, I'll see if I can give you a quick overview. The wells in your system are high in iron, and they sequester that iron, meaning they get a chemical to bind the iron up to prevent it from oxidizing and becoming rust-like in the sink or bathtub. That's the water. When you're producing the water, that's the way you treat the water. You add a sequestering agent, you bind up the iron. You're probably right on the threshold of requiring maybe even filtration. I think your iron levels are...
Can I interrupt you? You're talking coming from a well or coming from you guys?
No, from your source. So during the summer months when you're producing water, you're putting water into the system that has a fair amount of iron in it, very close to the point where you may need filtration. So there's a potential of that. That's probably where there's a lot of iron coming in. The other place could be just the years of buildup within those pipes, those unlined cast iron pipes where you can begin to get tuberculation and buildup inside that pipe.
Now, I mean,
like I said, I have to look at those pipes.
What can we deduce that from seeing the water quality improves after this weekend, and we switch from New Jersey American water to Belmar water? Wouldn't you agree that there's something wrong with New Jersey American water?
Well, I still go back to, one, we need to participate in the analysis because you also have a section, conversely, the areas that aren't impacted right now with New Jersey American water, Belmar, if they go bad, then it's really not the best way to approach diagnosing the problem. I think you really do have to get in and analyze and quantify what you're observing. There's other factors. There's temperature of the water, there's usage, and I think usage is a big part of the issue. And I also want to go back to the potential, damage you have in and along the boardwalk. I know personally that there's been sewer backdoor operators cleaning storm sewers and the like along the front and actually connecting to your hydrants, drawing water from the system, and maybe drawing it at a high velocity that is stirring up your distribution system. So the operation of those hydrants as part of the cleanup of the sewer systems could be contributing to some of the disturbance that's occurring in the system. There's many factors that I really can't stand here today and answer that yes or no.
You mentioned the areas impacted in Belmar are west of 71, Rhode Island Point, Surf Avenue, but I also understand from residents that Fifth Avenue along the lake is impacted as well.
On North Lake.
Alice Marcus, right? Yeah.
North Lake Drive, yes.
Yeah.
And we flush that hydrant every 4 days or 5 days.
So in your findings or in your investigation, you haven't come up with any reason or diagnosis as yet?
We have not come into Belmar to help with that diagnosis. We've been in Lake Como and Avon. We checked in maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago. when we were finishing up with Avon to see if it was necessary for us to come, and we were not requested to come at that time.
Can you guys test at valves the pressure?
I'm sorry, is that,
No,
did I represent that incorrectly?
Incorrectly.
incorrect.
I did?
You did.
I did.
I requested that you guys come in, yes. At the meeting in March, and then also with Jeremiah. Yes, I said we don't need help.
Okay, then if we misrepresented that, then we can take that offline, but we are willing to come in and work with you on this issue.
Can we tell at the joints the pressure to say, hey, there's a pipe broken because we got pressure good to here, but to here the pressure drops significantly, and that's where the leakage is?
Well, it wouldn't be necessarily leakage, it would be a restriction to flow, and we can. And what the test, some of the hydraulic analysis will be what we call a fire flow test, where we measure the flow coming out of one hydrant, and then we measure what they refer to as the residual pressure. And the public water systems need to have at least 20 pounds residual pressure under the flowing condition of those hydrants, and that would help us diagnose how much capacity that section of main can deliver. It also would represent if you have proper fire flows in that area as well. So it's not only to help us diagnose can you flush the system, it'll also diagnose are the hydrants capable of delivering what we refer to as fire flows.
When we switch over to our well water, does that delay your ability to evaluate?
Well, I guess you said you're switching this.
We have some baseline samples that were taken now on New Jersey American Water. When we go to our well system, we're going to sample aggressively again and see what the difference is. We really need the data to compare to see what's really going on. We've been collecting data for the past several months.
And if it did show up that this chlorine was the issue, would you go to revert back to using chlorine?
No, we would not. We can't, because it's the surface supply that we draw from. We require that treatment to meet the federal regulations for disinfection byproducts.
Is the water safe to drink? If I wake up and forget and get a drink of water at night?
Well, what I can say is safe is the water that's delivered at the interconnect. To answer questions.
Actually, please let Fran answer that.
We have a laboratory that samples, we have a laboratory under contract, Henderson Labs, and they sample every month. And they take random samples throughout town, and then we get those reports. So I'm sure that if it was not safe, we would know in a long time.
And just to know, we have been testing specific homes, the complaints are made, and when problems are identified, we have been going out and doing samples of water is absolutely safe.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I went to homes and there's no way I would drink it, but it's safe to drink. But it's
as part of the data,
no one right mind.
as part of the data that we're collecting too, every call that we get generates a work order, and we respond to that. And we have that data compiled, and we're going to share that, so we can see the target areas and how many people called and who they are. But they're specifically in those two sections, but every once in a while there's a random call on B Street, or a random call on E Street, but not on a block or 2 blocks.
And we know pretty, you guys know pretty well which streets are affected.
Yes.
I do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Because we got to communicate this to them. I can tell you, I don't think anyone's going to be satisfied with what they're hearing tonight. If I was a resident in that area, I would not. Neither would you. And we're going to have to see what occurs when we do switch over this coming week.
If I could, I just wanted to offer a little bit about what's going to happen over the next week to 2. So we are moving towards, as Franny illustrated, moving back onto our well water. What I have asked of American Water is that they advance to us the appropriate protocol, both in terms of full systems flushing and any chemical recommendations that they would make. Because part of, as we move from chloramine treated water to free chlorine treated water, there are things we can do. Rich Brand is our licensed operator, he's an incredibly talented guy. So we are going to receive a protocol from American Water on the appropriate way to transition back to the well water. Everyone's hope and best case scenario is we go back on our own water due to our own chemical mix and the higher volume, we see clear water return. at least consistent to what we've had in previous years, which I'm not saying is perfect, but it's certainly better than what our residents have been suffering through. At that point, we've essentially pressed the pause button on the discoloration water. That pause button only lasts until we get back to until we get up to next fall when we go back onto American Water. So that's why it's so important that American Water come in and partner with us right now to start with the hydro mapping, identifying it. I really hope that we have a closed gate somewhere. I really hope that there's a broken valve. Those problems we can fix. And so we will be working with American Water, regardless of whether or not because I truly believe the water will go clear when we go back on our own wells, but regardless of that, the work needs to start now to anticipate where we're going to be in the fall, so that our residents don't have to live through this for another year. So those are just a few of the steps that we're taking. And again, what I stress, and I've learned a lot about this issue over the last month, is that there are experts, and our experts need to work together to identify these appropriate protocols and things that we can do with phosphate levels and nitrates to ensure that we're doing everything we can to mitigate the efforts of that corrosion. There is something we can do. Our toolbox is not yet empty, is what I want to be sharing.
I have a question also. Fran, why are we limited in using our own water? May 15th, that window of usage for the well water.
It happened a decade ago, I think.
I can explain it. Goes back to the early 90s. There was this DEP declared a critical area. For wells within a particular zone. Most of the wells from, let's just say, Union Beach down to Bay Head area fell into the critical area number 1. Those wells were required to cut back production approximately 50%. The Manasquan River system was built, the surface supply for surface water. What that system didn't have was a distribution network to distribute surface water from that reservoir, treat it, and deliver it to our New Jersey American as well as wholesale customers. And the strategy there was for New Jersey American to deliver surface water from that system, raw water from the Manasquan system, treat it, deliver it to those well users, ourselves included, and that would enable those systems to cut back on their well production, enabling the aquifers to build back up. And so it's they call it a tri-party agreement, and that went into place 1990 is when that went into effect. So it goes back, it's all about aquifer recovery. It's the driving force as to why Belmar's wells were approximately 50% reduction in allocation.
So we have that water from May 15th until October. Now, if it's not an easy fix, we cannot guarantee that our residents will be free of this. Is that correct? Is this, Colleen has illustrated a couple of examples as to how this could be an easy fix. This isn't an easy fix. And we have this ongoing problem, then we're all going to be very disappointed. And especially our residents who have suffered through this. I mean, residents have come up. We've had a picture of a little baby being bathed in horrific groundwater. We can't really tolerate that.
Well, we operate, in New Jersey, 9,000 miles of water distribution mains. And we do this every day. And we operate and maintain these systems every day. We have, rigorous flushing programs. We, rigorous documentation programs. We analyze, we repair, we fix. And when necessary, we replace. In New Jersey American right now, we're replacing well over $100 million a year in infrastructure just because it's the national issue, the aging infrastructure.
Right.
The reality here could be, and like I said, I don't want to speculate, but you could be faced with some water main replacements. I don't know when the last, do you have an infrastructure replacement program?
We do. We know.
It could be a reality that it could be the pipes in those sections, or there could be a bad run of pipe, and that's the root cause. I'm sure the root cause will be identified. It just, to Colleen's point, there has to be some systematic approach to assessing it. We can sit here and speculate, but it's just speculation.
Right, and don't wrong, we fully acknowledge we have areas of town that need new water lines. On 13th Avenue, that water line was completely it seems as though whatever's going on, it's gotten significantly worse just in the last 6 months. It doesn't seem that it could all be blamed on the storm, because there's some areas of town that had no damage at all by the storm.
Yeah, I don't know what was operated in your system during the storm. You know, did you have main breaks? Did you have anything that required the system valves to be
Not that
operated?
matches up with these areas. So again, that's part of the discussion that we need to have
Right.
block by block.
And going back to, the macro view of Belmar, you're not having the water quality problems throughout the town. Not every resident is experiencing that, so it's not from my perspective, it tends not to be a chemistry issue. But I'm not speculating, I'm just giving you my opinion on that.
Have you diagnosed the problem in the other communities that are facing this issue?
In
What you said, Avon and Lake Como, have you diagnosed what that problem is, those problems are?
From my perspective, yes, the two valves, there was two system valves that were found in the closed position, and we recommended a flushing program for them. I don't believe that they have fully executed that flushing program in an appropriate manner. I think they've made improvements. In Avon, the problem there was pretty much linked to low usage and water aging. And from the last conversation I had, they have a strategy for that. They're actually flushing the system because they have to turn the water over. Water turnover is an issue as well.
Can you come back in 2 weeks and give us an update?
I don't know if I'm going to be